Tucker Carlson was absolutely shocked in this interview with a Palestinian Christian, Alise Kissia, a close friend of mine who I've actually talked to you guys about prior. So take a quick listen to this interview, and I have a lot to say on it. So take a quick listen to this, and let's talk about it.
Do they ever go to jail?
They?
The settlers?
No. They attacked me, and once a settler, he tried to choke me in the car, and I called the police, and he also tried to attack my mom, and the police arrested both of us, and we slept in jail for nothing.
Wait, a settler tried to choke you and your mother. You called the police, and the police arrested you and your mother?
Yes, and I have videos on my Instagram.
And this is so evil. It's hard to digest it.
So I just have to, I'm going to stop right there. Alice is a Palestinian Christian in Bethlehem, and her family's been in Bethlehem from the time of Jesus Christ. Her lineage has been there for as long as we've known, and it's never been threatened through the Islamic conquest, during the Roman Empire, during the Ottoman Empire, the Byzantine. It doesn't all through time never been threatened until now, until there is the Zionist takeover. So this is Alise Kissia. She's and this is her property that was completely destroyed by these Zionists. Of course, the settlers destroy, and they hate the fact that she's Christian. They destroy her religious sculptures and statues and everything else. Maybe go ahead and play it.
What the settlers did, they hate the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ. They have broken the statue of Virgin Mary that we had with Jesus when they came into, and we didn't have time to take it out. They have
This is, and she's, guys, I don't know a stronger. She's one of the strongest women I've never even had the privilege of meeting her in person. I've worked with her a lot, just virtually, especially recently. I've been trying to help her. We did a post together, but I truly don't know a lady so strong facing just truly some of the most evil settlers you can possibly imagine. They've destroyed her home. She has no problem confronting them and defending her land.
The people, they won't leave. What is threatening about divesting and want to...
She's had documentaries kind of done about her. Truly just one of the strongest people. So I just want to let you guys know, because I think that most people don't know this. These settlers are mentally, she said this during Tucker Carlson's interview, and I think it's important people understand the Israel Fund. I believe it's called the Israel Fund, and a lot of other settlement organizations like Himenota, which he's brought up before. They will find settlers they'll find young kids, like teenagers. A lot of them are orphans, or just mentally not fully there, like genuinely like psychotic or mentally disabled. They'll find these sort of individuals that are homeless, Jewish people, of course, and they'll grab the young ones from the shelters, a lot of them from Argentina, from Ukraine, she mentioned, and they'll take them and they'll send them to the Middle East, to send them to the West Bank, the Israeli-occupied West Bank, and they'll give them weapons, and they'll basically be like, okay, here, go terrorize the Palestinians for us. You make our lives easier, because now what we can go ahead and do is we can then create fake military zones, and then eventually just start building more settlements, because on the zones that are now cleared out because you guys terrorize the Palestinians. That's the Zionist way. That's the Zionist way. And they've been working. It's been working for them. They've been able to do it. Right now, though, the way the West Bank works, and I've shown you guys maps of the West Bank before. I think it's helpful to see a topographic map of the West Bank, because when you see it, you start to recognize why it's so difficult for Israel to want to annex the West Bank. Why it's so difficult for them to go ahead and try to do this. So let me go ahead and pull up a good map. You guys can see here. All right, this is a good one. Let me go ahead and share my screen now so you guys can see this. The entire West Bank is mountainous. The entire West Bank is mountainous. So here's another good image. This is the West Bank specifically, and you see this all. This is where my family's village is, like somewhere, I think somewhere right over here. The entire West Bank is mountainous, while Israel is flat. So when they want to annex the West Bank, they can't just do it all at once. They can't just push them out. Like, look at Gaza over here. Gaza is flat. You can actually, unfortunately, move them from north to south quite easily, relatively speaking, in comparison to the West Bank. The West Bank is much more massive, and there is no north to south movement. And they know that. They know they can't shove them the same way. They're not trying to. They've never been trying to. Instead, what they're trying to do is they're trying to displace them in chunks. So what they'll do is they'll grab the Palestinians from Area C, which is under full Israeli control, and they'll shove the Palestinians from Area C into areas B and A. And then from there, one thing they really want to do more than anything to completely thwart the idea of a Palestinian state is they want to cleanse East Jerusalem. There's about, 400,000 Palestinians that live in East Jerusalem. They want to ethnically cleanse East Jerusalem. So that way it's never the future of a Palestinian state, which is why they're so big on these evictions in East Jerusalem. So if I search up like Palestine map A, B, C zones, let me see here. And I mean, these zones, it's not like these zones even really matter at all to the Israelis. But you can kind of see everything in this light bluish color here is Area C, and they've already done an amazing job annexing it. There's around how many, like 300,000 Palestinians now left living in Area C, and they're trying to shove them all into areas B and A. And then once they get into areas B and A, they'll shove them from Area B into Area A. And more important than anything is making sure they ethnically cleanse, just completely dump out the Palestinians in Bethlehem, which is where Alise Kissia lives, in East Jerusalem. That's the long-term Israeli plan. And unfortunately, it seems like it's going in their favor. They're doing everything they want. Nobody's stopping them. I'm doing a different video on it today. I mean, Donald Trump is giving his full blessings for Smotrich to go out and commit these complete, these total terrorist actions. He's fully in support of Israel continuing to expand the settlements, fully in support, letting Smotrich do whatever he wants to do, letting Israel do whatever they want to do. Do you see them doing anything? Is there anything they're not telling them that they can't do? There's nothing. People will bring up that one time, like several months back now, where Donald Trump said, Israel's not going to annex the West Bank. That's enough. Meanwhile, they're annexing the West Bank. Sorry, it's not written on paper. We annex it. Meanwhile, they're doing everything for that, and he's just going to give the stamp of approval when it's too late. And the Western governments know that too. So, what I do want to say though is I was messaging Alise Kissia, and because I freaked out, so I didn't know that she was on this Tucker interview until I was watching. I was on X yesterday. And I watched the beginning of the show because the first 30 minutes Tucker does, he doesn't actually do the interviews. He shows the interviews midway through. And it's so weird. I was like, in the middle of the show, I was like, damn, I wish Tucker Carlson would interview Alise, would interview Alice. And the day before that, I posted a photo of Alise myself on my X account. And the photo that I posted got over like 700,000 views now. And it was a photo of her and the statue of Mary that she had, 650,000 getting destroyed, this one. And it got a ton of views. And I've had things like this happen before where I make a story. I did one on George H.W. Bush, and then like a few days later, Tucker mentioned George H.W. Bush in a very specific way. And I don't know how else Tucker would have heard about her at that exact same time. I mean, she is big on Instagram, not as big on X. Regardless, I don't care. He ended up reaching out to her soon after that. And I ended up finding out about this, so I was messaging her. She sent me a WhatsApp audio message, and I was talking to her back and forth all day, just checking up on her, because I've been really trying to help her. Let me see if there's anything. She's so cute. She's such a sweetheart. She was nervous all day, and she was just talking about how, like, if she was good or not. Let me see if I can.
He told me also that
So, anyways, just some audio messages, but she was just really sweet. But this is what I wanted to say. Right now, Israel is going about doing everything they want. I wanted to help Alice, and prior to everything that's going on now, what I wanted to do is actually try to figure out ways to just get more video cameras or security cameras into the West Bank. And I started reaching out to a lot of I started reaching out to a lot of settler violence organizations. The main ones that I reached out to that I really liked working with prior was called ALHAQ, ALHAQ, and all they do is document settler violence. Trump sanctioned them when he took office. So I completely have to cut ties with the organization because I'm an American citizen. I can't work with those organizations like that. There is one settler violence organization that I work with, or that I keep up with a lot that aren't sanctioned, and I don't think they will be because it's an Israeli organization. Although Israel's trying to get them shut down. They're called B'Tselem. And it's an Israeli organization that monitors settler violence and stops settler expansion and everything else. They call Israel an apartheid state, X, Y, and Z. And I've been doing a lot of brainstorming with Alise, thinking, okay, how can we get Christians in the United States connected to Christians in the occupied West Bank? There's just this disconnect, and what the Zionists have done really, really well are connect evangelical Christians to the Holy Land at the expense of the indigenous Christians that are living there being ethnically displaced. So I've really been trying to brainstorm ways. I know Alise is working with some great people, with some great organizations as well, trying to figure out ways that we could just connect the Christians in the United States to the Christians that are living in the Holy Land, not to help them by allowing them to come into refugees in their countries, which is sweet, that's kind and great and everything, but helping them by allowing them to stay in the land that they've been in for thousands of years, by putting in doing pressure campaigns to stop what's happening, to stop this ethnic cleansing, to allow these Christians to live in their land so that way it's not completely cleansed. That's what would help more than anything. And, there is privilege that being Christian has, of course, in the United States versus being Muslim. And it's good to capitalize on that when we can, if it's for a good cause. If it does something good, then we should capitalize on that privilege and use it for good. That's at least that's my point of view there. Oh, okay. Anyways, guys, I'm talking your heads off. That is it for this video. If you found it interesting, I'd appreciate it if you just go ahead and click the subscribe button below and give it a thumbs up as well. Also, please make sure to go ahead and follow Alise Kissia on Instagram. I'll make sure to include her stuff before. I did also previously interview her, and if you haven't watched that interview, it's really good. I'm gonna list it somewhere over here. I'll have it so that way you guys can watch it next right after this. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys again soon. Take care and have a great day. Bye, everybody.